I think you could divide Las Vegas. I mean, I think Green Valley and Henderson were kind of a more affluent part of Las Vegas. As you got kind of more towards the Strip, that became a little bit more humble. They were more humble. North Las Vegas, a lot of North Las Vegas was very poor. And so, yeah, there's certainly different challenges with that, right? There's certainly more crime and more, there'd be, drugs and prostitution is a very big problem in Las Vegas, because outside of Las Vegas County, prostitution is completely legal, which I didn't know. And so certainly inside Las Vegas, there's a lot of prostitution. And so that, those are certainly some of the big problems there that we would have to deal with. Las Vegas in the winter is just awesome. It's awesome. It's very mild. I mean, you'd easily get up to 60, 60s, 70s in the winter. I remember sending a picture home to my family of me playing tennis, and it was in January. My family lives in Michigan, and so they were just getting hammered with snow, and I'm here in shorts playing tennis in Vegas. So, but right around, I would say May through maybe September, it's quite unbearable outside. In May, it starts to peak out at about 100 degrees, and then in June, July, August, it would easily get up to 120, 122, and that's just, you just can't. Like, we tried to have one P day where we played football outside, and we lasted about 20 minutes, and we were like, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. And so we just went inside, and so you just don't go outside. But as a missionary, you often didn't have a choice, and you'd be riding bikes in that heat, and so you would just have to, every house you would go into, it was almost expected that you would be asked to drink some water, to ask for some water, just because it was so dry and it was so hot that you were just losing fluids constantly. And so you would always ask for water, and you would always get water, bottled water, because the water in Vegas was just tasted terrible. Like tap water was terrible. And so you would just have to constantly drink water all of the time, or else you would get sick. And even when you're in a car, like I was a zone leader for quite a while, even when you're in a car, it can be dangerous, because the car, while you're in an appointment, the interior of the car would heat up to 150 degrees or whatever, and so you would get in and you would crank on the AC to try to cool it down, but by the time you made it to your next appointment, it wouldn't even make a dent, and so you'd have to be careful there. So heat was definitely the big problem. I did remember it rained once while I was there, and that was, I took a picture of me just kind of looking confused, and so, but when it does rain in Las Vegas, it can be dangerous. The roads get very slick because you have all of the oils and stuff that comes from the car, and so when the rain comes, all of that oil kind of rises to the top, and it kind of creates a slick surface, and so you got to be careful. It can be very slick there. Vegas. Certainly, there were parts of Las Vegas that I would not go now, as a regular, mere mortal, but as a missionary, you kind of had you were respected by everybody, and so even the most thug-like people there, they wouldn't mess with you, and they would kind of protect you and look out for you, because, as they would say, these were God's people, and so there's the I think it's in the Doctrine and Covenants that talks about, angels bearing up the missionaries or something like that. A lot of times they would come in the form of gangsters and thugs, and they would, they wouldn't mess with you, or they'd say, "Hey, man, don't go over here right now because, there's some bad stuff going on." Because I didn't personally, but I had members in my zone that would serve in the projects, like, where it was subsidized housing. And that was a very, very rough neighborhood. Very rough, where you'd have, shootings and stuff. Like, I remember there was one area where there was a highway that would go right past these projects, and they had to put up a wall because there would be guys that would drive by on the highway with machine guns and just like spray. It was a drive-by shooting from the highway. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But they put up a wall, and so, I don't say that to make people scared, but just the fact that there were some parts of Vegas that were very, very shady, and that you needed to be careful. But I never heard of any missionaries ever getting mugged or hurt from another person. Missionaries got hurt all the time because they were just being stupid or whatever. But I never heard of anybody getting mugged, any missionaries getting mugged or anything like that. I certainly saw a couple of guys I saw a guy get punched and attacked and stuff, and I just, and it was it was crazy. But, yeah. I mean, with any big city, there's going to be some crime and things like that. So just like I said before, you have Las Vegas, and then you have everywhere else in Nevada, and they're very different. Elko was certainly a mining town, and so it's a certainly different culture there. So just keep that in mind, that the Las Vegas mission is just not the city. It's the east side of Nevada, at least when I was there. And so you'll have different experiences going there. I loved serving in both to have such different experiences.